what's up, everybody? I'm Jacob.
And I'm Jerica.
And you're watching
the Community Bible Church Youth Group stream on Disney Channel.
Yeah!
Alright, now Jacob is going to be leading us in some worship music.
Alright, and the song for today is One Thing Remains. Switch to Jacob with our devotion.
Today for our devotional, I want to talk to you all about love, but love in a biblical sense and not necessarily the emotional feelings kind of way that we all typically think of when we hear the word. Love in the Bible is an action and a choice that we can all make and that we all are commanded by God to make every single day. And it doesn't necessarily always involve our feelings. To love someone in a biblical sense is to serve them and to show them undying grace, even when it doesn't necessarily make you feel good inside. There might be a person in your life that you just can't stand to be around, whether it's because they make you angry or they annoy you or you just don't really like them in general. You can still choose to love them, even though they don't make you feel all that great inside. This is true because this is exactly what God does for every one of us every single day of our lives. There's nothing that we as humans could possibly ever do to earn God's love and grace and mercy, but He still chooses to show it to us every day in all of His actions that He does for us. Take John 3:16, one of, if not the most well-known verses in the Bible, for example. Just in the first part of it, it says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son." And so in that we see that love isn't necessarily just something we can say and then be done with. It's something that we have to actively show to everyone else. because in his sacrifice of Jesus for our sins, God showed his love for us through his actions. Ephesians 5, 1 through 2 goes further, and it says, "Follow God's example as dearly loved children and walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us." Imitating God's love involves not just saying you love someone, but showing it all the time. Just as Jesus made the ultimate sacrifice for us, we have to make sacrifices every day for those that we claim to love. Titus 3, 4 through 5 says, "But when the kindness and love of God appeared, he saved us, not because of righteous things we had done, but because of his mercy." So then we also see that love isn't necessarily something that we should expect to gain anything from for ourselves, because love in a biblical sense is making sacrifices for other people to better their lives and not necessarily your own. Luke 6:32 also explains this kind of concept when Jesus says, "If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them." So we can't go through our lives only showing love and grace to those that show it to us, because that's essentially just a trade-off. You show it to them, they show it to you. What God does, he shows us his love, but he doesn't ever really gain anything from us from it, because there's nothing we could possibly give to him to make his life better, because we're just humans and he's perfection. Loving as we're commanded by God to do, as difficult as it may be at times, involves loving that person in our life who we may not be able to stand. In order to be most like God, we have to make the choice to love all those around us, even when we aren't gaining anything from it. Making sacrifices, like Jesus did, is essential to biblical love. We have to live by the golden rule, or in Jesus' words, love your neighbor as yourself. With all that being said, I want to challenge you all to go out into your lives, whether it be today or this week or just anytime in the near future, and to just love that person in your life who you may not necessarily feel good inside about, and who you may not gain anything from loving, even if they don't appreciate it, even if they're kind of weirded out by you showing them love and doing them favors and stuff. We still have to do what 1 Corinthians 1:6 says, and do everything in love. Thank you all for listening, and tune in next time.